Hey there, and welcome to another video from the Sales Hacker Outbound SOS live Q&A series. I'm your host, Jeff Swan, and this is going to be another solo video just to kick things off. But last week, if you can recall, I'm just going to share my screen. Last week, we talked about how to get a meeting with the economic buyers. This is a really important question from the community, or in our last video, I mean, and we decided to use language to get people to get your champion to want to bring in the economic buyer into the process. Number two is make it seem like, or make it clear that you can make it easier for them to be the resource in the process. And three, be direct and ask for the intro. Let them know that your time is precious and her time is precious, or his time is precious, and that it's better for all involved to involve everyone in the buying decision. So your second question now from the community that we're looking at is how long to wait to re-engage a cold prospect. So this is one that I hear all the time. People want to know what is right, what is successful, what is effective, like all these different things. There's so many reasons why you need to think of that hold people back from being successful at re-engaging prospects. But the number one frustration is fear, is that I don't want to seem too pushy. I don't want to be a spammer, that kind of thing. I want to be able to keep them aware that I'm around, but also be helpful at the same time. So the best way to do it, it really depends on your deal size, how long it takes people to actually make decisions, and how long are typical deal contracts, that kind of thing. Like how long between when they actually make purchasing decisions, and how vital this is. So there's all these different factors. I'm not going to say that there's one specific way to do it, but what I like to do as I look at option A, option A is a pretty quick re-engagement cycle. So that's 60 to 90 days. Now, for most of my sales development teams, I always make sure that we're on a regular, what I call recycling program. You can call it re-engagement or whatever you want. It's the same thing where at least 4 times a year, you're reaching out to the same prospect on a nurturing cycle or on a prospecting cycle. So effectively what you do is you run through your sequence, which is typically anywhere from 10 to 30 days. Then you're going to put them on an idle status in your CRM and basically say, we're going to re-engage with them in 60 to 90 days. And then at the end of that 60 to 90 days, you're going to have a task or alert in your CRM or sales engagement tool that says, re-engage this prospect, add them to a new sequence. I do recommend doing different sequences. Sending the same one over and over again is not going to look good for you. It's just going to look repetitive and not very valuable. So what you want to do is bring new things to the table when you do that re-engagement cycle. So have something new to tell them, have new insights to share with them, have something that will get them attention. Okay, so those are for your more typical sales cycles. So not too crazy enterprise deals that take forever. Option B now is, this is interesting. So option B is the same methodology that we just talked about, except on a longer time frame. So instead of 60 to 90 days, we're looking at 66 to 12 months. Now, personally, I don't really like waiting 12 months to re-engage a prospect. If you know that they're somebody that can work with you, I just say, hey, get them in your funnel and keep talking to them until they pay attention, realistically. So I prefer option A. Option B is nice for people that, really have those longer deal cycles, a lot of things going on. And maybe there's just a lot of noise in the space. So option C now, this is one that's interesting. Option C is something where you can actually do a continuous drip. So it's not that you're constantly doing your aggressive outbound prospecting for 3 to 4 weeks like most people do. It's more about bringing in, you're doing your ramping up and down and across, ramping up, down and across, ramping up, down and across. So you're always doing something to communicate with somebody. So a great way to do this continuous drip is that if you're actually looking in social media, you can just periodically engage with somebody's posts, like or comment on something, send them a document that you think is very helpful, send them an invite to an event your company is hosting or that you're going to yourself. But you can basically constantly keep in touch with somebody and then re-engage on either option A or option B time. But if you're in truth, I'm leaning a lot more towards option C these days on the option A time cycle. If you're gonna just pick one, just to pick one, I would do that as a continuous drip on a 60 to 90-day cycle. But again, if you have your own reasons to do it a little bit longer, you can get away with a 6 to 12 month re-engagement cycle. But again, I prefer it the other way. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Next, we'll be taking another question out of the Sales Hacker community and answering them live for your benefit. Thank you and happy hunting.